Hello and welcome to a bike show that this week will feature Don riding the new 4-valve Hero X-Pulse that has just arrived in South Africa. We'll also be taking a look at some interesting new accessories from Henderson Racing. But before we get to those, we're going to catch up with some electric bike stories for which we previously haven't had space in earlier episodes. That's not to say that they weren't worth covering, but towards the end of the year when all the new models are being teased and then revealed, some press releases get drowned out by the deluge of bikes vying for attention at expos like Milan and Tokyo. Actually, just as a quick aside, that can be our first news item this week, the return of the Cologne show in Germany, also known as Intermot. It has been announced that it will run from the 5th to the 8th of December this year, shortly after the EICMA Expo in Milan. This German expo used to be held every second year, but will apparently now be yearly and has already received support from manufacturers like BMW, Yamaha and Kawasaki. BMW's presence is something of a coup, since they have been absent from Milan for the past couple of years and sort of seem to be done with these big shows. Anyway, digression aside, one of the models that was announced recently and which we very much did think was worth covering was the Verge TS Ultra. We first met the Verge Motorcycles team at the EICMA Expo 2 or 3 years ago now, and back then their stand was a very simple, unassuming and obviously very affordable for a small self-funded startup open space where they had simply parked a couple of their bikes. 2 years later, the bikes look essentially the same, though the detailing, technology and build quality has moved on dramatically, which is good to see. Otherwise, the same headline feature, the apparently hubless rear wheel, remains, and on top of being such a uniquely striking visual element, it actually also helps the Verge models hold a larger than expected battery because space has been freed up in the main body of the bike by incorporating the electric motor into that rear wheel hub design. Performance should be of the bloody hell, that's quick variety, given that the standard TS Pro version produces 1,000 Newton meters and can nail the 0 to 100 k's an hour dash in 3.5 seconds, all while availing you of a range of up to 350 kilometers. Show off too much with a number of traffic light drag races and you definitely won't see that number in terms of range before your range anxiety has turned you all sweaty and super anxious. There is a Mika Hakkinen signature edition celebrating the Verge advisory board member and double Formula One world champion's legacy and passion, whatever that means. Don't get me wrong, I'm a Hakkinen fan. I think he's a great driver and an undeniably cool bloke, but after looking at the promo video, the 100 limited edition Hakkinen bikes appear, slightly disappointingly, to be only really different in terms of the colour. Some carbon bits and bobs and a plate with Mika's John Hancock on it. Not to worry, because the model you should probably be looking at is the TS Ultra that has, wait for it, 1,200 Newton meters and a 0 to 100 k an hour time of 2.5 seconds, which has got to be good for a bit of a giggle. A slightly terrified giggle that will probably sound a bit too much like a barely stifled scream, but I would definitely love the opportunity to experience it at least once or twice. The latest news from Verge doesn't concern the already astonishing performance, but rather focuses on the addition of a heap of technology that is aimed at keeping you safer on the road. If that sounds ever so slightly boring, then rest assured that if you're into your tech stuff, even a little bit, whether that be your phone or gaming or sound system or your car, your interest will be piqued by the StarMatter system that powers these bikes. Or should I say runs these bikes, because it seems to be more of an operating system. The main takeaways, without getting too involved, are a big Tesla-like display screen embedded in the top of of what we quaintly used to refer to as the tank, and a full-colour TFT dash in the usual handlebar area. These are linked to two radar systems that look forwards and backwards and are combined with data provided by 6 cameras that provide full 360-degree coverage. It requires a big brain to link these numerous sources of information into a stream of easily understood and therefore useful prompts and recommendations for the rider, and that's where StarMatter is apparently leading the way in the motorcycling world. Well, maybe I should emphasise the apparently a little more, because obviously we have the Canadian Damon enterprise that is also intent on building the planet's best bike, not even just the best electric bike. Its claims have always centred around its outright performance and technology and some groundbreaking stuff like electronically adjustable riding position to go with its 200 mile an hour top speed, 200 mile range and 200 kilogram weight claims. It is still under development and you can't yet buy one, which you can with the Verge model. So if you're the impatient sort and you're in the market for a technology-laden naked bike with gigabyte-tastic performance, you will, at least for the moment, probably be buying Finnish rather than Canadian. Although if both bikes live up to expectations, then I have no doubt that there is space enough in the market for both brands. With the wealthy clientele they're both aiming for, I'd add that they should probably make space in their garages, or should I say garages, for one of each. The Verge bikes are designed in Finland, built in Estonia, and at the moment have only one dealership that is in Monaco, where the Finnish Mr. Häkkinen lives. I don't think it's easy, or maybe even possible, to park a bit of a scruffy 18-year-old Fiat Ducato camper van in Monaco. Well, at least not without getting arrested, but I'm sure I can park somewhere close enough to unload the trailer and get there on my bike. And believe me, I will try to do exactly that for a chance to test ride one of these very intriguing machines sometime during this coming year. And maybe even, if I'm super lucky, get the latest news on the company's progress from the F1 champ himself. Bit of a long shot that one, but you never know, do you? Unless you ask. While I daydream about riding the Verge, I might as well tell you about another group of bikers who have turned their electric bike fantasies into reality and will soon be abandoning their internal combustion engines in favour of the whirring and whining of an electric motor. The French gendarmes, or national police, will soon be equipped with a number of Italian manufacturer Energica's Xperia touring model. This is a tasty bit of kit, quite sporty, and with an equivalent 100 horsepower motor is capable of knocking off the 0 to 100k an hour sprint in just over 3.5 seconds. The battery is a shade under 12 kilowatt hours and is capable of an urban range of up to 420 kilometres, but we'll see that range fall to 240 k's or less if you do a lot of highway or aggressive riding. They're definitely quick enough to pursue errant speeders or even the occasional bank robber, as long as the chase doesn't last too long. But I think you're more likely to see these green motorbikes performing very visible and very slow escort duties at the upcoming environmentally friendly Paris Olympics. Okay, enough with all this newfangled electricity. After this short ad break, we change the pace with a new luggage system.